Hello, my name is Anne and welcome to a Tobyknits Quilty Fun Special. This is episode 3 of my Quilt As You Go Carnival Puzzle Mystery Quilt. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, Tobyknits, who are by far my favorite quilt companies, put out a puzzle mystery quilt twice a year. And this was the last fall, so this was called Carnival in the colorway Ferris wheel. Isn't it gorgeous? And you put together each month a different block. Then at the end of the 10 months, you then put all those blocks together to make a quilt. And typically you would just sew the whole piece together and then send it to be long-armed or quilt it yourself. I can't afford a long armor and I can't afford to I can't stick this under my domestic sewing machine, it's too big. So I have been doing it quilt as you go. And so there are 2 previous episodes if you want to go back and watch. I have no idea how to do that little thing up in the corner to make it easier. Yeah, you just have to go back and look. But basically I have quilted them in strips. So there were 5 strips. This was a strip and I just quilted it all the way down with the backing and the batting in the middle. And then there were 5 strips altogether. There was the second strip and then they were joined together by a strip at the back there. I hope you can see that. So yeah, since the last time I saw you, the first time I showed you how I was going to do it in the first episode. The second episode I started showing you, and I started quilting one of them. And in the second episode, I showed you how to actually put the strips together. So here is the back. And you can see it just looks lovely. And here is the front. So what I'm going to do now is I need more space because I'm adding the borders. And I got the extra border kit, so that will make it easier for me to do the quilt as you go. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. But first I have to lay it on the floor to add all the borders so I can have a think. So yeah, come and watch. First borders are on, and if you had a regular border, regular quilt, this is what you would get in your last clue. So now I'm going to add the extra borders that they gave me on and decide how they go. Which one is the longer one? Okay, that's the longer one. So this is the shorter one. Okay, so roughly here is how it's gonna look. So what I have to decide is how I'm gonna sew all these borders. I think I'm gonna sew them. I'm gonna sew these 2 together, the thinner borders together. I'll have to have a think and come back to you. Okay, I think I figured it out. I want the 2 side seams to be the same size. And then, so in order to make the orange go all the way around, I need to cut some of this side orange, just this bit, off and fit it on the end of the bottom piece there. so that when they join up, it'll all go around. I'll have to show you what I mean. So what's going on out the window today? There is a big tree. I don't know if you can see it, but it's back there that they took out. And they took it down last year. And I think they've decided to take the stump out. So that's what all the noise is outside today. But we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about this. So I managed to get the 2-strip border out of 3 sewn together. So here's how I did it. I cut this one exactly the same size as each other. So these 2 were cut the same. This was longer. On this strip, I added the bit at the bottom. It looks a bit wonky, but hey ho. So I added that, and once I'd added the side pieces up at the top there on each side of that, then I added this piece. So now I've got 4 strips that are now going to be quilt as you go. And the last strip, which is the same size as this, which is, I think it was 4.5 inches wide, 3.5, something like that. That will get quilted on its own and then added. So I'm going to now cut out all those strips, which I have written down so that I've got my sizes. And I'll need the batting to be just a little smaller, but the actual backing fabric will be the same size. Once I've done them and put them all together, I shall quilt them. I think I'll also probably cut out, because this is the big one that goes on next. I'll probably cut this out at the same time. Be a cutting day today. Okay, so I've done them. Okay, so let me show you. I decided to do a ziggy-zaggy pattern all the way on one side, and then I turned it back and did the other to go the other side, if you can see that. So that's how I decided, because I love the ziggy-zag. I know I call it that, and it's not really a zigzag. It's a straight stitch, 3.5, with a walking foot in a curvy line. There, let's go with that. In a curvy line. It's not a zigzag, but I keep calling it a ziggy-zag line. But anyway, so that's how it went. That's how it looks on the back. And you'll notice I have this little thing here, because what I did was when I was cutting out the batting, I'd have a few bits and bobs left over. So I just fused them all together with this, so I wasn't wasting anything. And this is this fusible tape. I don't know if it'll work. It's the first time I've used it, but it seemed okay. So I've been using that. So there's the smaller one, and here's the bigger one. On the smaller one, originally I just had the wavy line going the one way. But when I came to do it this way, there was so much left not stitched that I decided to go back on this one. And then when I did that, I thought, oh, I might as well do them on all of them. So I went back and did that. So that's how that has all been sewn together. So now my next step, so this is just 2 of the 3 borders, so 2 sewn together. And now the next step is I am going to trim down all the side edges of this piece, because you can see they're not all straight. So I'm going to trim all these down and pin my first set of borders on. don't forget, I'll also be cutting a 2.5 inch strip, the length of this, also to be attached so that it will cover the seam on the other side. I hope that makes sense. You've seen me do it before. I'll show you next time. I'm going to get on with this now. I'll see you next week, and we will do the last set of borders. They'll be much easier. And then the binding. Woo! Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.